Hello everybody to the third part of this video series where we are creating an alarm app using the MERN stack, which include MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js. In the last episode, what we did is we just connected our app to a MongoDB database using Mongoose, which is a library for using MongoDB CRUD operations and connecting and other stuff. You just do it in JavaScript and in Node.js. Okay, and also what we did is we configured our environment variables in order to be able to use them in our application, just for security reasons. Okay, now the next thing we want to do today is we want to connect to create a separate database here. As you can see, there are a few databases here I've created because I've been working on other apps before. You probably don't have much of this. You probably have admin, config, and probably local, okay? But now we're going to create our own separate database. And to do that, we gotta come to the .env file, and just here after the slash, we can give it our database name, okay? And the app, let's just say alarm, okay? A simple app name. Let's just save, and let's just save to restart our server, and it should connect. And you can see that it didn't appear here because in order to a database to appear, it needs a collection. Collection is something inside a database, like a group of content, okay? And we're gonna create a collection today, just for testing purposes. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to remove this router, okay? We will not be using it. Instead, we're gonna create a better system of routing. Okay, let's just save this and move on, okay? So what we want to do here is we want to create a new folder, okay? We want to name that folder models. Inside the models, we're gonna come here and create a new alarm models.js app, okay? So this is where we're gonna store the model for alarm. Every alarm should have a model, and this app here, this module, will contain our model. So in order to create a model, first let's import mongoose, right? So mongoose equals require, and let's say mongoose. Then after we imported it, we just want to create our user schema, okay? Alarm schema, you can say, and equals mongoose dot, then with a capital S, schema, okay? Then just parentheses, and inside the parentheses now we can create our new schema. So first, what do we need in our alarm app? So by default, it has a unique ID which we can use to query it. But what other things should we have? Okay, first, maybe the user wants to supply a name for the alarm. Okay, so we just say name, and you can say type, and it's gonna be a string. What other thing? Maybe it's required, maybe it's not, but it won't be required. But one thing it should be is unique, because we want to have one alarm with different names, okay? The same names, two alarms with the same name. I can't speak today. Okay, so let's try unique true. Next, after the name, we want the content for the alarm, right? So the alarm should have first hours. So hours. That should be actually we can say time, and inside time we can say hours, which will be I think, yeah, the first one is a simpler implementation. I just don't want this to be overwhelming. We're gonna, maybe in the future, we're gonna expand this and make it more scalable. But for now, let's simply do it like this. So we can say hour, then you can say give it a type of, it's gonna be a number. Okay, actually it's gonna be a string because we want to use it to convert it to dates. So it's gonna be a string, and required will be true. But default, we need a default value for this. And if the user haven't supplied any, it's just gonna be 0 0. Okay. Now let's just copy this because it's mostly just the same. It's the same for both minutes. Yes, the same type string, required true, default 0 0, and seconds. Okay, I'm not gonna do something like milliseconds or something advanced like that, but you can do a simple to implement that logic. So after we have this, okay, we need now to be able to export this as a user model and use it. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is come down and say const alarm model equals, then I'm going to say from the alarm schema here. Okay, by the way, this gotta be capital because it's a class actually. Okay, so this alarm model equals alarm schema dot model, and I'm sure we imported this, right? Okay, yeah, so should this be new? I think this should be new mongoose.schema, then alarm schema dot, yeah, it should be new, then model, then we have to pass it two things. First of all, the name, then the schema. Okay, the name should be simple. I'm just gonna call it alarm. Okay, so it's gonna be alarm, and the schema should be used alarm schema. And finally, just let's export it, sorry. So you can say module, actually we can do that here. Okay, I say module dot exports, then we don't need this, and yeah, okay, so it's working perfectly. So this is what we are exporting. So to recap, what we did is first we imported mongoose, then we created a schema. We just say const schema, for example, to try, and say new mongoose. Okay, and from the mongoose we took the schema type. So, and we say we define the schema. For example, name, we can say string. Then what we did is we took a model, and we, from the schema, we created schema first, then model, then first the model name, which will be something model, then the schema, which it will use. Okay, this. Then we exported it. Just did module dot export, and we exported it. So simple. Now after we exported it, let's import this into not our app, but just for today, because we want to test it today, we're going to import it to our app. Okay, so it's going to say const actually we're going to say server dot get, and on the roots, if you go to the root, what should happen, there should be a request and a response. Then first let's import it right here actually, and say const alarm model equals require, and in order to require a custom made module, just do / okay. Then go to the models folder and alarm model. Then what's next? After this, just say alarm model, then dot create, okay, in order for us to create a new object in our MongoDB database. Okay, so create, and first what should we create? So first it needs a name, and I'm just gonna say name hi, then hour, minute, and second. Okay, so hour, say 01, minute, let's say 22, and second, let's say 56. Okay, 56. Now if we actually this gotta be an async function, because here we're gonna come here and await this, okay. Then let's assign this a variable. Okay, so let's just say alarm is equal to this. Let's finally come and actually response.send here, since a JSON.stringify, just to change an object to a string, just to make it more readable. Actually, we don't even need to do that since it's simple. Let's just come here and say we want to send alarm. Okay, and let's just save it. And if we come here and click on send, sorry for that, I just realized something of doing incorrect. So here this is not correct. Actually what we want to do is module.export and say not alarm schema, but we want to say mongoose.model, okay, and say alarm, and let's make this small just for consistency, and you want to use the alarm schema, okay, and we don't want to use alarm.model, instead we want to do mongoose.model. Let's just save this, and here also nothing to change. Okay, so far nothing to change, just that change only that. So it should be only one word actually. So if we come here and click on this, that should something is not working, and okay, so here we got a working mongoose MongoDB inside of a collection that is data. Okay, so we have data and we have stored this data in our database. And how can we check it? So first of all, it has a name, it has hours, minutes, seconds, and ID. It has a uniquely generated ID, which MongoDB just provides. And there's a __ v, which is equal to 0. Don't worry about that. So just go to MongoDB, and if we now refresh, we should see this alarm. Okay, so that's our app name. So if we click on it, you can see this. Okay, this is called the database. Okay, this is the logo, the symbol for a database, and inside the database, this is what we call a collection. A collection is a group of related data. Okay, and inside of that collection we have data. Okay, so this is one alarm that we have created. Okay, perfect. Now so now one last thing before we end this video is we don't want to be just creating alarms manually like this. Instead, we want to be getting user data and creating alarms from that user data. Okay, to do that we need something to be configured up here. So actually come here and let's this is what we call a middleware, and we're gonna talk about middleware in much more detail in the coming videos, but for now just type this. So what we want to do is we want to take the server, and we want to say .use to use a middleware, and the middleware we want to use is called express, okay, .json, and that will allow us to use content from the body of the request. Okay, the body of the request, by the way, you can come to body raw and just type JSON. Let's take this bit down, and now we can give data to the app using this body. Okay, so instead of creating it with custom inputs, we want to get our inputs from data, and the inputs are stored in the request.body. Okay, request.body, that's where all the inputs are stored. And let's just assign use the structuring. Okay, sorry, const not cast. Let's do the structuring. So first we want a name from that. If you don't know what the structuring is, it's not in the topic of Node.js, the MERN stack. It's actually more about JavaScript. If you like, I'll make a beginner's tutorial on JavaScript in the future, but for now, just search for about more the structuring, and let's just continue. So name, we want to take the hour, the minutes, and the seconds. Okay, then what we want to do is just say name equal name, meaning it will use this. So a good feature in JavaScript is that if you have the same value and the same key value pairs in an object, you can just take this out and it should use it by default. Okay, here too, here too, and here too. So now our data will be created from a user input. Let's just save this to restart our server. Let's just come here and say first name, actually it's JSON, so in parentheses. So you're gonna take this and create a front end for it, but don't worry for now, just do this. So let's name this hello hours, let's say 5, let's give minutes 30, and finally let's do second about 0, 0. Okay, now notice that we are not actually giving it a -v and an ID. These two are generated by MongoDB itself, so don't worry about that. Now if we save, it should create a new alarm. Now if we come here and if we click here to refresh document, and perfect, here we have created a new MongoDB data. Okay, so document, it's actually called documents. So this is all for this episode. We just created a simple MongoDB model here and exported it in order for us to be able to use it in our app. So now in the next episode, what we're going to be doing is, I'm not sure actually, since I didn't actually plan this out. I'm actually making an app start to finish. I'm showing you my mistakes and I'm showing you what to do. So because I wanted this to be educational, I want this to show you what real web development actually looks like. So on the next day, if things go well, in the next we should be working on routing for our app. And yeah, thank you for watching this episode, and I'm gonna see you in the next time.